In order to work with people record, you can do that accessing from the login menu here, and you can just click on People Manager, and then you get this page, which you have like, as in the places, you have a left column with the possibility to create a new person, and then if you expand this tab, you can see all the different persons we created in alphabetical order according to their standardized name. Here you can, of course, filter by name or by even number. So it's easy to find uh, what you search for. Let's see an example, a particularly complex one. So actually, the people record, it's fairly simple in its structure. You have just a field with the name that you can edit. This is the standardized name. You just put this in this form. The Latin prenomina must be abbreviated, but then all the rest is spelled in full. You search for you indicate the sex, the personal status, um, the rank, and the citizenship. Here there are the functions. So Timesitus here are the person we are looking at uh, completed a very long career with many posts that are listed in the different inscription that we have about him. So actually you have a lot of places of functions. Here in this section, it's the bond section. Actually, it's the relationships with other persons. Now we have two persons, like of which Timesitus was patron, Gaius Statilius Marullus Avernus, and Gaius Saconius Adnatus. Here you have the documents that are uh, linked to Timesitus. In here, within brackets, you have the dates. You have the numeral, um, the dates, the lower and the upper datation for each document. You see this one is 238, this one is 2021, 2022, 2032, 2032, 232, sorry. And here you have the places that are linked in a way or another to Timesitus, are mostly the places where the inscription comes from, but can be other places, of course, the other places that are mentioned as linked in the inscriptions or the other sources. So this is the structure of of uh, the the places, the people record. So you can actually modify everything you see here. You can, of course, choose, change these. You can get rid of an element. Here also for the function, you can order them to put them. They are listed in the chronological order from the first to the last one. So they must be indicated with the most. So the first post occupied must be at the beginning, and the last post occupied must be at the end. Um, there is no actual way of eliminating the bond yet, so it could be added. So if you need to eliminate the bond, you have to intervene the XML. While here, of course, to eliminate the links to documents and places, of course, you have to act from the document. So you have to open the document and actually uh, eliminate the link to Timesitus in the document, and then the document will disappear from his page. Um, so actually the XML shows you all this thing. You see, this is the part where all the functions are listed. And there is also the section with the relationships, and this is the one. This is the one. So if you really want to delete a relationship, you can just tell me to do that, because I can do that for you. Or you have to search for this column, like the snap has bond and so on, and then you have to delete this column after you do um, this line. Sorry, you have to delete this line, this one, for example, to eliminate the relation, the first relation with the person number 22. That was the first one listed. If you want to delete it, then you need to save, and uh, you will see that the person detail tab will be updated, and the bond, the relationship, will be eliminated. So we can try to create a new person. To create a new person, you go up in this column, and then you click on here on create new person, and you get a fairly simple dialog where you can uh, put your name. We're going to call it text person one in this example. So you choose male, personal status. You can choose among these categories, but so as you see, if I go on freeborn, so if the person is freeborn, I just go here and I click. But if I want to say that the person is perhaps freeborn, so um, I'm not really, so it should be, but I'm not really sure. I can just click freeborn with the question mark. Um, there is uh, another possibility is just personal status unknown, where uh, when we really do not have any element to make a decision, so we can not even hint that from the context or from other elements that the person in question was probably a freedman or probably a freeborn. So in this case, we just use personal status unknown. Then what about the rank? The rank needs to be filled only if it corresponds to one of these. You see the city councillor, then co-emperor and emperor for uh, the emperors, and a question of senator. So it means that for a regular imperial freedman, for example, or freeborn person like peregrine's person also, you don't have to put anything. You just leave these field blank, so you don't select anything. Citizenship, um, you can choose between Alexandrian, Peregrine, Roman, or unknown citizenship if it's impossible to determine. You don't leave it blank if it's impossible to determine. Blank would mean not applicable, like in the rank uh, item here in the rank menu. When you select nothing, it means that none of the above of these really applies, because the person is not either is not a city councillor, is not emperor, is not a question, is not a senator. Doesn't mean that the status is unknown. It means that it's not applicable. And then you click, so let's choose a Roman citizen and create the person. So the person is here, and you can also, of course, as I said, you can edit. Then let's say that we want to add um, some function. Or let's say that so I click here, and let's put some examples. So um, he perhaps was prefect. So you search prefectus here. You see you get many of them. These are all concepts in our thesaurus. So you are able to add them if you don't find the one you need. So in this case, the first, like prefectus uh, tout court, is this one, but perhaps he has been a prefectus alle miliare, so we can just select this. And what is target? Target is the the administrative resort that the person had. Actually, this function was linked to what kind of sphere of competence. So actually, a sphere of competence in this case, when you have a military title, it's normally a military unit. So in this case, if the guy was a prefectus ala miliare, we need to search ala, and you get all the alae. There are different um, all the different alae that are here. So there are many, so it's better that we is there any miliaria? Well, like we can just like choose one of these, Gaetulor veterana, and so if I validate, and so we created the function. I can add another one. He may have been like tribune of a legion, so tribunus legionis in this case, and of a kind of legio secunda, let's say italica. It's just an example. We validate, and it's there. I can, if I need to rearrange the function, I just click here, and so you see that Tribunus Legionis came. Now it's in first position, but of course I want to put it in second position. Let's say now that he is being procurator of a district. As you see, as procurator, you have many of them, so you have to actually choose the one that it's important. For normal procurators, like a procurator of a province, you just choose procurator, the simple concept. And now let's add an administrative district. Let's say that he is being procurator of Narbonensis, Gallia Narbonensis. You can choose this, then, but you see that here there is also other possibilities. There is Gallia Narbonensis et Aquitania, Gallia Narbonensis, Lugdunensis, Aquitanica et Belgica, because sometimes the title can be complex in the fact that actually you have many districts together. But in this case, let's say that we want to choose Narbonensis because he has been procurator of the Narbonensis, and so I validate. As you see, the form is this, so it's procurator and within brackets Narbonensis, like here for the military units. This is a necessarily it's a simplification simplification of all the different ways our sources can express the relation between the function and the administrative district, because sometimes you have procurator per Asiam, Bithyniam, or procurator and then a genitive of the province, procurator in a particular province. So it's difficult sometimes to know, for example, that a procurator of a province with a genitive and in a province, was it in the second example, was it a procurator of the entire province or had a smaller sphere of competence within that province? So actually, for us, it would be very complicated to give justice of all these nuances. So actually, the modelization just takes into account the title and the sphere of competence, and then the commentaries will be the place where you really express the different nuances, and you say that that function, like for example, procurator Narbonensis, perhaps is not the procuratorship of the whole province, but is perhaps another charge um, within that province, but not the charge, the responsibility of the entire province. What about larger districts that are um, made of different provinces? This is something that you find often when you have procurators of like the Vigesime Entitatium or of the Portorio, because these districts were fairly large and so included many provinces. Let's say that I want to add a procurator Vigesime Hereditatium. As you see, we have the different denomination. You can choose, in this case, you can choose the one that is the closest to the way the denomination, the function is expressed in your source. I can just put like, for example, procurator Vigesime, and then I can choose a district. Okay, I can choose like, for example, Gallia Narbonensis, Aquitania, or this one, Lugdunensis, Aquitanica, Belgica, let's say that had a fairly great district. So what does it mean? It means that we created a target like this. So it means that this cluster of provinces is an administrative unit. It's a place that we created in the Places Manager. So it would be a mistake to split these procuratorships in four different procuratorships and say that he was separately procurator of Gallia Narbonensis, Gallia Narbonensis, Aquitanica, and Belgica. So if you create four different procuratorships of the Vicesima Hereditatium for each of these sections, this is not correct. When you find larger administrative districts that are indicated as a cluster of provinces, and you know that these provinces were administered together as a single district. So you need to go to the places record, create a place that is called with the cluster of the provinces, and um, indicate as type administrative district. We will see how it works. So I validate here, and so you see how this particular district works. If I click on the district, of course, I am redirected to the record of the district. So as you see, this is one place record. It indicates the four provinces. As place type has administrative district because it's not a province. It's not a province, it's not all the rest, it's not a geographic region, not even an ethnic region, it's an administrative district. Has no location, but as you see, is made of the four different provinces. So this is important when you have to deal with complex indications. Anyway, one idea, one important hint I can give you, or recommendation I can give you, is that please stay as much as possible near to the expression that you find in your sources. So actually you can use like create like different denomination for the same function, like if there is Purificato Vicesima instead of Vicesima Hereditatium, and then the try to keep the district together. And of course, you need to understand that this the administrative sphere of this function must be either really a military unit or a special entity. If someone was procurator of the Annona in Rome, the Annona is not, of course, a place. So actually, if someone is procurator of the Annona, is the function it's procurator of Annona. And only if you have a specification in your source, you have a specification of an administrative district, you have to put this here. What about magistracies? So actually, if someone was consul, you can leave it like this, because consul, of course, it's a charge that is held in Rome, but it's something that has kind of general, universal, empire-wide competence, or it can have empire-wide competencies. So actually, it's not only Rome, the administrative district of a consul. Different is for local magistracies or local priests. For example, a flamen can be a flamen of a local city. Let's say a flamen in Sabrata, and you can validate here. So in this case, you put the city where the this priest has been elected, actually, or has been named, for because it's not um, an empire-wide charge. I click validate. So for example, in this case, in this example that we did, we can have functions that are chronologically ordered, one after the other, because of course normally someone is prefect before is a procurator. But what about flamen? Of course, he can have been flamen, can be an appointed flamen. I don't know between the two, but he doesn't. It just doesn't give the indication. For example, many times there are no indication of the moment in which this this charge had been given. In this case, you can just leave them at the end, or the all the this appointment that cannot be truly dated. You can leave them at the end, or you can also put them at the beginning. It depends what the also what the source says. But what is important is that you don't put them between the other charges that are more chronologically ordered, and so to give the impression that he has been named Flamen after he was Tribunos Legionis, if we don't know that. But if we know that, of course, if the source allows you to understand that he has been appointed Flamen after a certain period after another charge, this can be of course done. We should not over conceptualize this, because anyway we have all the documents linked. So for someone coming to this page, this is not everything he will see about this person. So actually, if this is not a perfect reconstruction of what the source says, because sometimes sources are very complex, areas can be very complex, it's difficult to really schematize them in this way. Anyway, you have the sources, so actually write the commentary, point to the sources, because we have this privilege of having a database, a bibliographical record that gives access to the sources, or gives access to all the materials, so that people can make their own decision, can make their own judgment about the career of any one of them. So now let's create another person so that we can see how the bonds section works. I go up here. and I say create new person. Yeah. Test person 2. You can be female, freeborn, and Roman. I create. So I want to say that this person was the wife, for example, of test person number 1. So I go on the bond section and click plus, and I get this dialog. So here you start uh, by typing the name of the person you search for. This is this date person 1. Okay, so you selected the person as being, as you see here, the name, the name and number is reported here, so it means that has been validated. Now you have to select a relation type. So here you have two ways. Either if you really don't know how this relationship is described in our system, you just can open the menu and go down and see all the different possibilities we have. So as you know, um, wife of does not exist. You have to choose. You have to choose legally recognized union with. This is um, the way this relationship, the marriage, is defined. So you can either click here and then, or you can just choose union, for example. Here you go, okay, and you get legally recognized union with. So as you see here, the concept appears 2 times. This is just because it is in 2 different places in our thesaurus, but it's the same concept because in the thesaurus the concept can be a concept can be under different other, so it can be nested in different places. So actually, but you see the identifier is the same, so actually there's no difference between the two, so you can choose either of the two. So actually, okay, but now we already had choose it here. Okay, after you choose the relationship type, you click on Get Reverse Bond. The Get Reverse Bond, what does it do? Actually, it means that the other person, so test person 1, will be linked to the test person 2, that is the one that we are editing here, with this label. So actually, the suggested label is legally recognized union with. So actually, it's the man of the husband of the person we are editing here. Actually, here this suggestion reverse bond type is correct. So we just click validate, and here it is, test person 1. If we go to test person 1, you will see that test person 2 is indicated here as having a legally recognized union with person 1. Let's create another person again. Female, freeborn, and Roman. We create that, and let's say that she was the daughter of this person 1. I call it this person 2, it would be 3. It should be 3, so I just change it here. Okay, now let me click bonds. I search for this person 1. Here we are. And I want to say that she is the daughter of. So I let's say I just write here, sorry, the typo, daughter of, okay, get reverse bond now. Okay, so you see the system suggests me that test person one um, is the mother of test person three, but it's not true because test person one is a male, so he is the father. So actually, I have to change this. So to change this, to change that, I have the same two ways. So actually, either I choose father of from the menu, or I just search for father of in the box. So I said father of, I validate, and so you see that here the link has been added. And if I go on the text person one record, I will see that actually he is expressed as father of text person three. Now text person two, three, it's also the daughter of this person too, so I have to add that as well. Daughter of, I click get reverse bond. Mother of in this case is correct, so I just validate. On test person two, to see the new relationship, you need just to reload the page, and then you will see that the relationship appears. So actually, what about more complex relationships? For example, if you have a grandfather or a great grandfather, um, so it's important that you just do one generation at a time. So actually, if you have a text person four that, imagine that we have a text person four that is the father of text person two, so it would be the grandfather of the test person three, so the of this person. Instead of like inserting that, so the person is the father of this one and is the grandfather of that one, it will be enough that you indicate that the person is father of this person, and then we will have the system calculate the other bonds automatically. So if for complex inscriptions, uh, just do one generation at a time, and it will be enough. Now that you created the persons, you can of course add them to documents and tag them, of course. And then each time you add a person to a document, then if you refresh the page, you will see that the documents attached are linked here, and the places linked are displayed here. And I think this is it for the creation of persons. Uh, Make reference to the complementary notes to see other suggestions, of course, on how to use the functions to describe particularly complex function indication in our sources. Anyway, if you have doubts for something, you can always take a note, and then we can discuss that together at the meetings or via email.